Hi, my name is Mariela Estrada. Today my reading log is over the book Somos como las nubes, which translates to We Are Like the Clouds by Jorge Orcuta. The publisher is Groundwood Books and the copyright date is 2016. This book is aimed much more towards older children, so 5th or 6th grade. This book is presented as poetry, so it has a bunch of different poems to them. All of these poems are first presented in Spanish and then presented in English, and so I will talk about that a little bit later on. This book is very much a summarization of the struggles that Hispanic children go through as they immigrate to the United States. So it kind of illustrates their whole journey from beginning off in their different countries and taking the long trip to the United States. It talks a lot about how most of them miss their families, and so it includes children who are from El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, and other places like these. And so it's very much in the perspective of the children. You're not introduced to certain children in particular, but it does kind of it encaptures their own personal emotions, which I think it's very beneficial, just so that students and the readers can very much connect to these young children, to these characters in the book. These are all based on how actual immigrant children are coming to the U.S. So the setting of these poems and of this book changes throughout the whole story. It first off begins in the Latin American countries, or in just different Spanish-speaking areas. So there's one poem that talks about the neighborhood. As you can see, this illustration, it has a lot of, they're very realistic images, and they're painted with acrylic paints. So you can see kind of like the neighborhood, and then it goes on to talk about the different people that they've seen there. As you can see, very realistic images, which kind of allows students to connect more with the people in the book, with the characters. It has a very graphic image here. They are full-page images. So when you're not reading the poem, you're seeing these very graphic, very realistic pictures, which are beautifully illustrated by Alfonso Ruano. So it is very much intended to connect more with the audience, and so that you can build an emotional bond with the characters. The author is actually an immigrant, and so it ties in a lot there. I personally come from an immigrant home, so I feel like it's a very close connection to myself personally. The strategy that I thought is, since this is aimed for older students, I feel like we could work with a few research type projects to become more informed about the topic of immigration. I feel like it's not only Hispanic immigration, but it's also worldwide, because in reality, the U.S. is founded by immigrants, so I feel like we can explore a lot about that. It talks about we are like the clouds, because these characters drift from place to place, and so I feel like we could even go outside one day as a class and kind of observe the clouds and play the game as we would when we were children, to tell what you can see floating in the clouds. And so I feel like those would be good exercises and activities that we can do, try to get the children more informed on the subject, but also just kind of go outside and enjoy nature for a little bit. So that's it.